It's Bengals, it's Raiders, it's playoffs, baby. Welcome in to Cincinnati Bengals Talking High again, everyone. I'm James Rapien with allbengals.com. And yes, we know the Bengals opponent, and it's a team that they faced this year, which is really, really exciting. The Bengals fall to the 4 seed after the loss to Cleveland. And guess what? It was the right decision, just like we anticipated. And the Bengals are playing a team, and the Raiders, that I really was wishing for last week. If you were watching the videos and watching or listening to Locked On Bengals, and it's not that the Raiders aren't a good team, and we're going to dive into it with our first look. But I just wanted to give you an idea of what this week is going to look like because it's playoffs, baby, and we're excited about it here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Peter King is going to chat with Lindsey Patterson later this week, so you're going to get that. You're going to get exclusive interviews, hopefully, with a Bengals player. We're working on a lot of stuff here behind the scenes, plus a ton, maybe a couple more guests coming your way as well, plus the normal analysis, clips, everything else that you can imagine. My boy Andrew Fox Miller is going to be a busy man editing, but that's what happens during playoff week is we are going to record, and I'm going to have to drink plenty of tea to make sure my voice doesn't get too hoarse after a couple of days in cold Cleveland. That being said, let's get to this game. And oh, by the way, that's why you should subscribe if you haven't already right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk. First look at this game. The Bengals, to me, this is a favorable matchup because they've seen him. They have a smart quarterback in Joe Burrow that, to me, it's like the opposite of Andy Dalton. And my good friend Joe Goodberry, who used to write for The Athletic, does a lot of film analysis, used to track Andy Dalton's common opponents. And Andy would struggle against common opponents, division opponents, teams that had seen him twice in 1 year. Joe Burrow hasn't had that throughout his career thus far. And just think about it. He got blown out by the Steelers his first time playing them, blown out by the Ravens the first time playing them. And then the next 2 times, he handled business. And it's because I think he's such a smart, intelligent quarterback. It's going to be hard to fool him twice. And so I've seen a lot of people say, yeah, that 32-13 score way back on November 21st, that wasn't indicative of how that game went. And I agree with you. It was a much closer game than that. The Bengals pulled away in the fourth quarter. That being said, with the way Burrow was playing, in weeks 16 and 17, and you combine that with having seen the Raiders once, I think, and I expect him to play at a really, really high level this week against the Raiders. So that's my first thought. Second thought is, all right, well, how do you protect Joe Burrow? Well, it's going to be tough, right? You don't have Riley Reif this week, and you're not going to have him for the rest of the season. Max Crosby is one of the best edge rushers in the NFL. So when you tie that together and you mix him in with Yannick Ngakoue on the other side, they're going to be able to pressure Joe Burrow. And Zach Taylor and Brian Callahan are going to have to be aware of that and give those guys help when needed. And this is also a game where you're going to have to rely on Joe Mixon some. It's playoff football. This isn't going to be a 525-yard performance for Burrow. This might be a 225-yard performance. And that's okay. It's playoffs. You do whatever you need to do. And this team, and I've said this before, they're multiple. And they've shown they can be multiple and win in multiple ways. And whether it's Joe Mixon running for 100+ or the defense carrying them in Denver or a mixture of both, or maybe Joe Burrow rather winning a shootout, I don't think this is necessarily a shootout. I think this is going to be a game where they're going to have to rely on Mixon, keep Burrow upright. He's certainly going to have to make his fair share of plays, even if it's snowy, even if it's cold, and that's what the early forecast is showing for Saturday. Outside of that, though, the other thing is turnovers. Let's be honest here. When the Bengals stopped turning the ball over, they started to play at a really, really, really high level. And they turned the ball over against the Chargers, and it cost them. And it cost them more and more and more. And then they struggled early against the 49ers, and then they started to get rolling. And why was that? Well, they were playing clean football. And, yeah, a lot of that has to do with just how well Joe Burrow has played. I expect him to play at that level. I don't think he's going to have any playoff jitters. This man played in front of 100,000 plus against a Trevor Lawrence-led Clemson team that hadn't lost. Trevor Lawrence was undefeated. People forget that. And that LSU team got punched in the mouth early in that game. So he's played on the biggest stage, and it performed at extremely high levels. Heck, the Chiefs game, the whole country was watching that game. That was the 4:05 game. That was not a regional game by any stretch. That was a national game, and this is certainly going to be a national game. 4:30 on Saturday. Speaking of Saturday, we are going to have a meetup. So if you're coming in from out of town, join us at the Holy Grail at the Banks. It's on Joe Nuxall Way, really close to Paul Brown Stadium. If you're staying anywhere downtown, you can walk to it. But on the Banks, it's called Holy Grail at 7 o'clock. It's going to be me. It's going to be a lot of different Bengals personalities, fans that you may know that are super fans that are really well known. And I'm going to try to get some media folks down there as well. But we're going to have giveaways, a little Q&A session, and let's be honest, enjoy the playoff, the night before the playoffs, because, well, it's been a while, and everyone remembers how the last playoff game ended. It took a while to get back here. Might as well enjoy it. So that starts at 7 at Holy Grail on the Banks. I will tweet out a link to that, or a flyer rather, to that. But I want to see as many of you as possible, and it doesn't matter what channel you follow, whether it's Cincinnati Bengals Talk or allbengals.com or the Locked On Bengals podcast, and might have some Rivertown Inquiry swag. Yeah, a little Rivertown Inquiry swag to give away as well as part of our giveaway. So make sure you're there for that. Out-of-towners, in-towners, doesn't matter. 7 o'clock. We'll go late. It's a 4:30 kick on Saturday, so I'll be able to stay up nice and late and say hi and answer your Bengals questions, and we can have almost a live Q&A, so to speak, on Friday night at Holy Grail. But no, I'm excited. I think this is a game. It's certainly a winnable game, but it's a game that can propel and help propel this team. Because if they win, there's a chance that they just go to Nashville and play the Titans. And yeah, I get it. Derrick Henry's coming back, and that's the 1 seed. I don't hate that matchup. And there was a stat, and I put it out there on allbengals.com. And I'm going to, I have it right here in front of me. So the top 3 seeds in the AFC are 7-8 against AFC playoff teams. So the top 3 seeds are the Titans, Chiefs, and I froze up for a second, the Bills. So those are the top 3 seeds, 7-8 combined. None of them have an above 500 record. The Titans are 2-2. The Chiefs are 3-3. The Bills are 2-3, right? The Bengals are the only undefeated team. They're 4-0 because they beat the Chiefs, they beat the Raiders, and they beat the Steelers twice. The Steelers are 2-4. The Patriots are the only other team that have a winning record against the other AFC playoff teams. They're 2-1. Raiders 1-3. Bills 2-3, Chiefs 3-3, like I mentioned, and Titans 2-2. So I would expect the Chiefs to beat the Steelers. And so then if you can handle business against the Raiders this week, you have the Titans. But my point is, and the reason we didn't do an emergency video late night, Sunday night, early Monday morning when the Raiders clinched, it's pretty simple to me. I like the Bengals in any of these matchups. And that's not saying that I think they're going to blow off the doors, but I think that they're so multiple, and they can win in so many different ways that I think they're going to be able to compete with any of these teams. I'm not predicting them to go to the Super Bowl. I'm not picking them right now, and I'm not even picking them to win Saturday yet. We're not there yet. We'll get to my prediction later in the week. But I think it's okay, despite the playoff drought of 31 years, and you're going to hear about it all week, and the curse of Bo Jackson, and it's the Raiders, and has it come full circle, and all of that, and there's time for that. But I think it's okay, Bengals fans, to go, okay, they have a real shot in embracing that. And that's why we're having that event as much as anything on Friday night at Holy Grail. And speaking of this game, the Bengals opened as 6.5-point favorites, according to my bookie. And 6.5, it seems like a lot. I get it. And I know it. I understand it. At the same time, it is the moment. You've been waiting for it. I've been waiting for it. We've all been waiting for it. And if you want to wager on it, maybe you want to pick the Bengals minus 6.5. Maybe you want to tease them with another game, or you can do all of those things. The possibilities are endless with mybookie.ag. And right now, use my promo code BengalsTalk, and you're going to make your first deposit double. You're going to double it. It's going to multiply, boom, by 2, a 100% deposit bonus with promo code BengalsTalk at mybookie.ag. So you can wager on the Bengals. Maybe you're going to pick them to make the Super Bowl or win the Super Bowl. You can wager on both of those things. You can wager on the NBA if you want to do that, but let's be honest. It's playoff time, and it's NFL playoff time, and the Bengals are in the playoffs. So go to mybookie.ag right now. Use promo code BengalsTalk, and you can wager 6.5. They handled them 32-13. I get it's a playoff game. I don't know. With the way Joe Burrow's been cooking, Joe Mixon back. By the way, he returned from the COVID-19 reserve list, as did Trey Hopkins, Trey Hendrickson. I should have mentioned that at the top. Quentin Spain, and the rest of the players that were on the COVID list. All 7 guys. Details at allbengals.com. But they were, by the time you're seeing this, you probably heard the news anyway, because it was earlier Monday morning. But that bodes well for their chances. So, as far as schedule this week, we're going to have a ton of videos. So buckle up, strap in, get ready, hit that subscribe button, and I will see you on Friday. We'll certainly be at the game Saturday, and we're going to be at every damn playoff game during this run. So if they make it all the way to LA at SoFi Stadium, well, you know why you should subscribe to Cincinnati Bengals Talk? Because you're going to get exclusive footage, exclusive videos covering the Super Bowl from SoFi Stadium, because that's what we're going to do right here at Cincinnati Bengals Talk. Could you imagine? I can imagine. We'll see if it happens. But we'll start with the Raiders on Saturday. Plenty of content coming your way, so hit that subscribe button. And for Andrew Fox Miller, I'm James Rapien. Thank you so much for watching right here on Cincinnati Bengals Talk.